Let's continue with our discussion and now welcome KwaZulu-Natal Violence Monitor, Ms. Mary De Haas, who's joining us on the line to also weigh in on these current developments. So, Mary, a very good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for your time. So, KZN and the level of crime and crime syndicates has long been a concern, especially if you're from the province like myself. We ordinary people have long heard or even known about efforts that were stifling or blocking any person or groups that actually seek to deal effectively with criminality. So how did you receive these news, especially at the back of the constant political killings as well as an increasing crime rate in that particular province?
Look, this question must be dealt with in terms of what General Mkhwanazi said. Now, first of all, it's completely out of order for a provincial commissioner to make an announcement like this targeting the minister. It's completely out of order. He's a provincial commissioner. If he has these problems, if he thinks the minister is criminal, he must give the evidence to somebody to investigate. It's like, as somebody said to me, he's dressed as if he's threatening a coup. Okay, now, I want to deal with the substance of what he said and its impact on crime, because there are two related aspects here. The crime intelligence arrest. He's sitting there, he's apparently with people, again, who have been arrested and against whom there is a stack of evidence that I have personally seen for crime intelligence looting. That's the one thing. The other thing is the overlap between crime intelligence and the political killings task team. Now, General Khumalo heads both crime intelligence and the task team. For over 2 years, I've been getting information from people, from police, that they don't have resources, they don't have cars, they don't have money to pay informants. The informants, so this is the basis that you prevent crime, by having a network of informed, properly paid informants. The members are saying, well, we don't know, maybe all this is going to the task team. Well, maybe it is, because Mkhwanazi too works with Khumalo. You must understand that he and Masemola and Khumalo go right back as members of operational response. None of them are detectives. None of them are intelligence trained. Khumalo and Nhlanhla are appointments by the former Minister Cele. Okay, now the task team I can show is making malicious arrests to cover for politicians. They have cost taxpayers a small fortune. They live in luxury hotels. To make matters worse, they're moving around with members of National Intervention Unit, which is not the job. National Intervention Unit should be out there dealing with construction mafias, land invaders. They're swanning around with the staff team. So, I mean, what Mkhwanazi is saying is quite disgraceful. He's basically covering for people who are innocent until proven guilty, but are charged with serious offences. And it is not his job as a provincial commissioner. Look, we know he's angry about the disbandment of the task team, but that should have happened years ago. It's achieved virtually nothing except to cover up for politicians at millions of rands cost to taxpayers. Mm-hmm. So, meanwhile, crime flourishes because of that. And the NIU, which should be out there dealing with the building mafias, the construction mafias, the land invaders, is just running around with detectives that are covering up, helped by the prosecuting authority. That's how bad it is.
Mm-hmm. So, Mary, if I'm judging from your response there, firstly, you're taking, I suppose, a negative stance towards how he actually brought these allegations to the public fore. And I think we're talking about this particular point in our earlier interviews, because we're talking about how he must have, it must have cost him to take this drastic measure and publicly communicate in detail also the various miscarriages of justice justice as a ploy to protect certain individuals, also highlighting his frustrations at, of course, the goings on of the internal processes, basically saying he did not trust the system to come out and reveal these with them because these are the same people that are actually working against him. Let's look at, for example, the issue of vacancies that remain unfilled, those dockets that are still not being attended to. What are you saying to these? Is this not something that you've come across as you monitor crime in the province?
Oh, look, absolutely. But the problem is we have a problem with detective services. We had some good provincial teams. Now, at least one member of that team is sitting in prison, maliciously charged by this very same task team. Our detectives are badly trained. The forensic mortuary services have virtually collapsed. They're a trade for body parts with not enough pathologists, so there is a lack of forensic and ballistics evidence in many cases. So you can't, what General Mkhwanazi is saying is not quite correct. The position is much more complicated. You have, for example, take this province. I deal a lot with police stations. You can't get through to some of them. Their phones aren't working. Their emails bounce back. Now, what sort of province is he running? He is responsible. He hasn't replied to any of my mails for years. He shows no interest in following up my complaints, which are very genuine. So, I think you've been a bit deceived here because General Mkhwanazi is known to have opposed the disbandment of the task team. He was very angry about it. I'm told that I speak to a lot of police, including police who were very senior, some retired, and their comments are shocking about what's going on now in the police. So I think General Mkhwanazi's been on a PR drive. In fact, he said to me, it's not his job to go to the media and run. He must do it through his spokespeople. And nor is it his job to do this. If he wants to complain, he must do it through the National Commissioner. We have different problems. It's not just this problem. He must do it through the National Commissioner, who is the one that the Minister interacts with, not with provincial commissioners.
Mm-hmm. Mary, you've just said that this rot or this system, this criminal political interference is much more deeper and much more complicated than we're being told. Maybe talk to us about what counter information do you have at your disposal to actually support these claims, and have you been making any efforts as monitors of crime, particularly in the province of KwaZulu-Natal, to try and engage with the various crime fighting authorities to bring about this information that you have at your disposal?
Oh, absolutely. I have a body of correspondence with the NPA about the failure of prosecutors to do their jobs properly. And if you want a body of correspondence about the political killings team, it's all gone to Parliament. It goes to ministers. It goes to the Minister of Justice. It goes to the Minister of Police. It goes to the parliamentary committees. It goes to the Inspector General of Intelligence if it relates to crime intelligence. I want to make this clear. I can only pass the information on. Now, you ask what I'm doing about it. Last year, I sent a very detailed motivation on an official complaint form to the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee on Police, asking for them to investigate the political killings team. I said, I'm a very experienced researcher. I sent them very detailed case studies about alleged corruption by the political killings task team members. Mm-hmm. I never got that inquiry.
What did you discover in that, Mary? What did you supply to them as part of your supporting documents and information in that regard?
I pointed out to them the fact that, all right, I gave them various case studies. Right. Now, one person And I asked for an investigation into this. I just wanted an independent inquiry. Right. And I must tell you now, I still want an independent inquiry, but I want an inquiry into this, into the investigations of both the police and the NPA. We need an inspecting judge, not a commission of inquiry. We need a judge and people with him or her, like a good judge, like you take Mkhwanazi, you take one of the other retired Concord judges, like Kwihla or Mkhwanazi, there's a whole lot of them. Get them appointed as inspecting judges to check everything, but I refer to them in the sense of, dockets disappearing from, documents disappearing from dockets, for example, fabricated documents. A lot of evidence of torture and abuse made by people that the task team have arrested. They love the plastic bag tactic to try and force them to make statements. I'll give you one case. I'll give you two cases.
Give me one, Mary.
This was all passed on to these people. One of them is a man called Nhlanhla. He reported corruption. He was arrested and charged maliciously. In prison, he's a former MK guy. He was a senior road traffic inspector. He was kept 5 years without bail on charges. The other thing is they're investigating cases they have no mandate to investigate. They're not allowed to investigate fraud, corruption. That's the Hawks.
All right, Mary.
So they're taking stuff they're not allowed to investigate.
All right, Mary.
After 5 years, during which time he was almost killed with poisoning, another prisoner died, ate his food. Charges were withdrawn against him because there was no evidence at all. He sat for 5 years without bail because of the task team and crooked prosecutors.
All right, Mary.
Two Mkhwanazi policemen, they arrest on duty, they arrest hitmen with AK-47s. On their way, all hyped up to commit a crime. They book in the AK-47s, they're going to get an arrest, they're going to get an excellence award, but that day, they get arrested. They get arrested by the son of the man who runs the task team is driving Mkhwanazi's BMW.
Mary, unfortunately, thank you so much for giving us those case studies. Unfortunately, we've gone way over time for this particular engagement. Thank you so much for your insights this afternoon as well. Ms. Mary De Haas, the KwaZulu-Natal Violence Monitor, also with their views on Mkhwanazi's damning allegations that were revealed at a press that took place in Durban early today.